Apple, 3 a.m.
Ghost of Tsushima is an action-adventure game developed by Sucker Punch Productions and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It released on July 17, 2020 exclusively for the PlayStation 4. With the new generation of consoles on the horizon, does this tale of sword and spirit give the PS4 an honorable send-off or a shameful display? In the year 1274, the eponymous Tsushima Island is invaded by the armies of the Mongol Empire, led by Khotan Khan, cousin of Kublai and grandson of Genghis Khan. With his knowledge of the samurai, Khotan all but destroys both Clan Sakai and Clan Shimura in an uphill battle for them, as they number 80 samurai against an entire army. Lord Shimura is captured, and his nephew, Jin Sakai, is left for dead. Jin is rescued and nursed back to health by Yuna, a thief in search of her brother Taka, a blacksmith. In their escape from the battlefield, they find the island is overrun by Mongols. Jin is at odds with himself in finding a way to rescue his uncle, but can't do so against the overwhelming force without resorting to less than honorable means, such as stealth and assassinating unsuspecting enemy soldiers. Jin eventually becomes known as the Ghost, a living legend to defend Tsushima. This dichotomy between Jin's beliefs in the ways of the samurai and adopting his brutal and dishonorable methods of killing does weigh in on his conscience, but he is resolute in serving his lord uncle by doing what he has to do. The clash of ideals is a recurring theme in the game, between the aforementioned dilemma that Jin faces within himself and the views of his allies as they come from different walks of life. It's a great take on whether or not the ends justify the means. The writers have overall done an excellent job in capturing the essence of the samurai in this game, as well as exhibiting the philosophical differences that force Jin's character to develop.
When we take their life, we look them in the eye with courage and respect. This is what makes us samurai.
The exploration aspect of Tsushima is one of the more innovative ones I've seen in a while. Minimap? Gone. Compass? Not in this game. Distance markers? You barely need them. You have your world map in the menu and the wind. The wind is what guides you to your destinations in Tsushima, adding a nice visual effect that takes some getting used to at first, but it works pretty well. Nature's GPS takes on different forms as well. You have golden birds flying around when you're near a hot spring or a bamboo strike for an upgrade to your max health or resolve, and following these will lead you to them. Foxes will lead you to Inari shrines to give you extra slots for your charms, and Torii gates will lead you to Shinto shrines. These dilapidated shrines are a platforming event that reward you with a charm, granting you an equipable buff. The exploration for upgrades alone is enough for a completionist's wet dream, but there's a whole lot more content waiting for you. Saving peasants from Mongols and bandits gives you access to side quests for even more upgrades, charms, and equipment, be it armor or vanity gear such as headbands, masks, sword kits, oh my. There's a crap ton of cosmetic options as you can purchase dyes for your armor and give yourself that unique samurai look you've always wanted. Getting all these collectibles is a mammoth task, but one well worth the undertaking if you're into that sort of thing. Jin may be a samurai through and through, but that doesn't mean you have to play the game as such. You can choose how you want to dispatch your enemies, either calling them out in open battle, silently disposing of them, or a mix of both. As a samurai, Jin has different stances that are more effective against different types of enemies, and bows to deal with enemies at a distance. You also have the option to begin a standoff with your enemies. This allows you to lure the enemy in for an opening to deal a clean, satisfying one-hit kill. Trust me when I say that this never gets old. As a ghost, Jin has a variety of weapons and tools like kunai, smoke bombs, and sticky bombs to create confusion and eliminate your targets without them even knowing you're there. The fluidity in combat is one of the major assets this game has to offer, and one that definitely puts it a cut above similar games in the genre. You do have some missions where stealth is forced, so this may put you at odds if that's not your forte, but given how much opportunity you have to mix it up otherwise and how the stealth aspect works in the context of these missions, you'll be fine. Lastly, you have boss fights in the form of duels. This is in sharp contrast to ordinary combat, as your movements have more weight to them, are more deliberate, and mistakes get punished even harder. You might be surprised to know that in combat, there's no lock-on function. However, I found it to be a blessing rather than a curse, as you really don't want to be focused on one Mongol, as they like to dish out coordinated attacks to keep you on your toes. You want to watch for camera placement, as it can mean the difference between victory and defeat. It does get a little wonky at times, especially indoors, and you can easily find yourself getting ganked with some random tree or pillar blocking your view. With all that being said, the combat in Ghost of Tsushima is neither too easy, where it'll get boring on you, or Dark Souls-esque rage quit inducingly difficult, striking a nicely balanced challenge. The island of Tsushima has some of the most awe-inspiring vistas you've ever seen in this generation of gaming, bar none. Sucker Punch really pulled all the stops when they created this world, to the point where you can get yourself lost and not even care. Throw the wind in the mix and you're really in for a visual treat, as no detail was spared. The grass, the trees, Jin's hair, banners, and flames all flow and sway flawlessly. The vibrant colors and particle effects make for a masterpiece in motion. If you really want that old-timey samurai flick feel, go ahead and turn on Kurosawa mode for that black and white film grainy nostalgia high. Be mindful that some visual cues in combat and exploration are color dependent, such as the cue for an unblockable attack versus one you're able to parry, and the golden birds, so you might be inflating the difficulty a bit by doing this. Moving on to the voiceover, you have a few options here and they're all greatly done, especially the English and Japanese dubs. You can't really go wrong if you want that classic Japanese film feel with subtitles, or that English dub that doesn't disappoint in the slightest. I did see some issues where the lip syncing does get a bit muddy here and there, but these issues were few and far in between. Nothing really to take you away from the experience.
Starve to death, alone, without honor.
The musical score is about as authentic as it gets. It's pretty subtle when it needs to be, with your soft woodwinds and gentle shamisen strumming about, and ramps up the taiko drums and other percussion when the mood and setting calls for it. All in all, the soundtrack really immerses you into the game, where every other visual and audio aspect is already dunking you neck deep. So here we are at the point where I answer my own question at the beginning of this review. Ghost of Tsushima not only met my expectations, but exceeded them hand over fist. The spirit of feudal Japan is captured here like no other game has done before. The PlayStation 4 can die a warrior's death, as this masterpiece of a game delivered in just about every aspect of what a video game should aspire to. A tough act to follow, a strong candidate for Game of the Year, and I'm very hopeful as to what Sucker Punch has to deliver next.
Be no match for two samurai.
I brought allies. We can retake the castle.
Then we'll sing songs of our victory.
From all of us here at Rotten Apple Gaming, thanks for watching. So what did you think of Ghost of Tsushima? Let us know in the comments below. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay updated on the following videos.